It's Monday night. Oh, yes, it is Ridiculously Raw. Hello, friends. It's Ridiculously Over Gentleman Anthony Floyo here with you for another edition of Ridiculously Raw. I'm afraid it's going to be another one of those fast-moving shows because, I mean, I cannot believe for the second week in a row, it starts off red hot and then it goes downhill and not in a good way. So, yeah, needless to say, this Team Red Soldier is not really in the best of moods because of this. So, but we will get into the relevant stuff. No worries. So, I'm joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the host of the Cerebral Smack Talk. Of course, we got the first lady of the wrestling forum with us as well, Dee Dee Woodson, the Twisted Angel, the phenom Michael Bullock. He's probably going to be coming. He's going to be coming in a little bit late. He informed me of this yesterday. We had a little text chat briefly yesterday. I had to inform him I couldn't be a part of some plans of his, but it is what it is. So if by the end of the show he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed like we always do. So of course we'll review Monday Night Raw. I mean, there's not much to review because this was another dumpster fire show. Of course, we'll also have my Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling, and all around this is not going to be a banner night because I have. It's going to be a double negative review on both of those shows. So, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of negativity on this show here tonight. And, well, hey, I'm just telling it like it is, man. I'm just being that man who tells it like it is, like I always do. And there will be some positives on the horizon, though. I believe it. So, maybe not tonight, but, it is what it is. So, with all that being said, let's dive on in. Monday Night Raw was live tonight from the Cajun Dome in Lafayette, Louisiana, on the USA Network, as always. This was one of the few good things about this show tonight. We started it off. We had, for the first time since the night after WrestleMania, we had the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. Yes, Brock Lesnar out of hibernation. He came. He was there along with his advocate, Paul Heyman. Heyman took the mic, basically, did his thing as Lesnar's mouthpiece like he always does and in grand style. And then interrupted by Samoa Joe. And then all of a sudden, like good old MF likes to say, and of course, like his idol Gorilla Monsoon always like to say, Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar, eye to eye, face to face, nose to nose, one-on-one. If I butchered that, I apologize, but I know MF will get to that when we get to him. I know he'll set that up like he always does, classic hype man mode. But they weren't eye to eye, face to face, and nose to nose for long. The fight was on. They went at it. Kurt Angle acting as the paranoid general manager, trying to save the main event for the next Raw pay-per-view next month. He brings out Gestapo security guards, and I do mean Gestapo security guards, believe me. Basically, I'm sure they were plants, like I'm sure they were. Lesnar and Joe took them out. They kept brawling. Kurt calls for reinforcements. He brings out basically the entire locker room. Well, not really the entire locker room. He brought out pretty much the mid-carders and the jobbers out to try to, separate Lesnar and Joe. But then Joe would get one last cheap shot in. You heard of the term sucker punch. Well, how about a sucker kick? Sucker kick right in the face of Brock Lesnar, and then finally order was restored. Several superstars holding back Samoa Joe. Another round of superstars holding back Brock Lesnar. My Lord. Very good segment. Far and away the segment of the night. Michael Cole quickly transitioning away from it to deliver hype made it feel a little too business as usual. I mean, I get the need to hype something else before, because this game is going head to head with Game 5 of the NBA Finals right now. They could have done something else to hype it before the game started, but they could have done that at the top of the show and created more of an out of control feel heading into the break. And obviously, they did not keep the brawl going throughout the course of the show rather than just making it one segment. It was one segment and done for Lesnar. I mean, I enjoyed that headbutt. It was a fun callback to Joe's feud with Kurt Angle in TNA, which started with Angle headbutting Joe. So So yeah, but nonetheless, though, I mean, this was an amazing way to start out the show. Even though this show was yet another train wreck dumpster fire, this was one of the very few positives of this show here tonight. And I could probably say this was probably the best thing on the show tonight, if I'm going to be real honest with you. So what a way to hype up what will be the greatest Be a Man fight of all time. That was Be a Man right there. That's just a sample of what we're going to see in Dallas next month. So let's bring in Girl MF Michael Fletcher. Come on, NMF. Lesnar and Joe, eye to eye, face to face. You know how to do it. Come on, you do it better than anybody.
Yeah, I know you're trying to set it up, and I didn't mean to say the infamous words, but they were eye to eye, face to face, 1v1 is like I used to call it. And they dropped the gloves and let's go. This had the feel of a hockey fight, man. They try to hold them back. You ain't gonna hold two monsters back. I mean, good luck with that. Yes, you had the traditional plants, you had the traditional help, but at the end of the day, it was a good segment. I loved it. I think it was really craftedly done by WWE, and even for Monday Night Raw, that was a very good segment. I loved it because of the fact that, you need to get the hype fire, and this was a very, very good way to bring it all together, to get it scrap. It was nice. It was scrappy. It was a warlike. And the thing is that with guys like Samoa Joe and guys like Brock Lesnar, they need to be monsters. They need to be like badasses. So basically, a fight like this was perfect. If you're gonna plant a big fight, a big brawl, a big whatever, this is how you do it, and I think they nailed it to a T. So, no, to me, I got to say hats off to WWE, and not only that, but props to all the guys for sacrificing yourself to be a part of that segment too. So I know that's not an easy position to be in, and trust me, it's not. But they nailed it, and then some. Very impressed with everybody in the body of work. No, like you said, Anthony, segment of the night for me too. So this was one of the real reasons why we were enjoying. One of the probably the only highlight that we enjoyed out of this Monday Night Raw tonight. So with that said, Dee Dee Woodson, I'll give it to you, my dear.
Definitely the segment of the night. I don't know a better way to start off a show than to have two big men go out there and just, brawl. And that's basically what this was. I mean, after Heyman runs his mouth, you get Joe out there, and didn't say a word. He just goes straight for Lesnar, and I think the message was sent between the two of them that neither one of them are going to back down. And this really makes you look forward to this match coming up at Great Balls of Fire. So not much more I had to say about it. Probably one of the very few positives that I'll have tonight. So nothing else to say. So it's yours.
Well, we're going to move on to another one of the positives here. Surprisingly good match here. We had the Drifter, Elias Sampson, going one-on-one with the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose. And surprise, surprise, Elias Sampson wins the match in 11 minutes and 55 seconds via that, what I call his version of Cody Rhodes Crossroads on Dean Ambrose after a distraction by The Miz. So, Sampson gets another one over on the Lunatic Fringe. So MF, how about that Drifter?
I like him. I like the Drifter. I'm not really too fond of him doing the promo with the guitar and the singing. All right, fine. I'm down for a stripped down, uncut, what it is. What was that? What was that show on MTV back in the day that you had great people like Eric Clapton, Babyface,
Unplugged.
do? Huh?
Unplugged.
unplugged. It was unplugged. So, I mean, I get it. I mean, you can do that. That's cool. Fine. But the wrestling is the real reason why we watch. And let me tell you, very good match, solid fight. I could give it maybe 2.5 stars for at least as a possible fight of the night candidate. I mean, okay. I think there was one match that was actually better than this. We'll get into that a lot later in the evening. I think, hint, hint. You know where that's going. But at the end of the day, it was too heavily Miz involved. The Miz had to come down because he got this beef with Dean Ambrose after, well, I mean, Dean Ambrose did kind of ruin the party last week on The Miz. I mean, he was dressed up as a cameraman and jumped him. Okay, fine. So Miz wanted to get a piece back. Looked like it was going to be a count-out victory for the Drifter. No, he actually got crossroad. 1, 2, 3, center of the ring. And Kurt Angle was not too pleased with the Miz for sticking his nose where it didn't belong. But Angle's got enough problemas. There's already enough fire in the world out there. So, I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Good fight. Didi, what did I give it to you, my dear?
I'll give it 2 stars for the match, but does Elias know any other song? Because it seems like that he's playing the same one over and over again, just changing the words. I mean, it's like a one of those segments or from Sesame Street where you have them playing the same song and changing the words to it. So, or everybody's favorite Purple Dinosaur changing the words to certain songs. It's one of those type of things, and I'm not real crazy about that part, but this did end up being a pretty good match. So like I said, I'm going to give it 2 stars. Getting tired of the interruptions in the matches, though, so hopefully tonight will be one of the last times we have this Miz and Ambrose interrupting matches type thing. So not much more I have to say. So Florio, it's yours.
I'll follow it up. I'll give it 2 stars for the effort as well. I mean, it was an okay match with Ambrose continuing to no-sell moments after he takes impactful offense from his opponents. You had to know Miz was getting involved the moment they dedicated the pre-match build-up to recapping his segment last week. So, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, I agree. I'm just like MF. I mean, I'm high on Samson too. I mean, he's got to. I mean, I'm glad they didn't go the jobber route with Elias. They easily could have, but they didn't. He's got a good look, and if they he just needs to revamp the whole guitar before the match idea. I mean, MF had that exactly right. I mean, yeah, even though I kind of find it catchy at times, but yeah, keyword at times. So the song sounded a little different, if I'm going to be real honest. So yeah, 2 stars is definitely the correct rating for this bout. I definitely agree with that. And judging by what I have on my scorecard here, this is actually my second best fight of the night, if I'm going to be real honest with you. One match was better. So, all right. So, all right. Now I think this is where we get cut out happy here. So, MF and Didi, just relax, and I'll let you know when we'll be ready to come in. We had a cruiserweight match: Cedric Alexander against Noam Dar. Cedric Alexander wins the match in 10 seconds. I'm not kidding you. 10 seconds. He wins the match. No rating to a dud. Thank God. Now can we get Cedric into something good? Let's hope so. Then from there, they made an announcement that next week on Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns is going to announce his intentions for SummerSlam. Okay. that actually might be something good. Now we move on to what we had next. Bray Wyatt, he came out, cut a promo, and then he was interrupted by Seth Rollins. And I'm gonna leave this up to my panel here. If we want to get into this, we'll get into it. If you don't want to get into it, I'll just take it for a spin and ask. So I'm sure Didi's gonna concur with that. So all right, I'll take it for a spin here. Yeah, I'm glad they said pass because I wasn't feeling that at all, and it did nothing to make me want to see them have a bout, honestly. So yeah, that was a meh segment. Then we had Kalisto going against Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews wins the match, 2 minutes, 25 seconds. No rating to a dud, of course. It was okay, but too short to really be anything of substance. The Titus brand angle continues. Of course, we know that's at the point of go away. The problem I have is that these angles always come off more about Titus than the others involved, and Titus has very little to offer, and I mean very little to offer. Alexa Bliss comes out, Raw Women's Champion, interrupted by Nia Jax and Mickie James and Dana Brooke and Sasha Banks, and then Emma shows up. I know that's going to make MF very happy because I know how much he loves Emma. And then it set up a 6-woman tag team matchup with Sasha Banks, Dana Brooke, and Mickie James. They went up against Alexa Bliss, Emma, and Nia Jax. Sasha Banks, Dana Brooke, Mickie James win the match, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Sasha Banks with the Banks statement on Emma. And I'm sure my panel's going to want to move on from this. So, yeah, I don't blame you guys. But you know me, I'll take it for a spin here. As far as the segment goes, they took the revolving door segment, moved it to the middle of the show, and put the women in it so that they could have a chance to not really say anything and mimic the booking of the SmackDown women, where everyone is involved instead of focusing on some individual feuds. But of course, that would mean giving them more segments and time to get those feuds over. This is typical WWE booking of the women. You know, throw them all together. You know. As far as the match goes, by default, it's my third best fight of the night. I'm going to give it 1.5 stars. There wasn't much to it, and what was there wasn't exactly smooth. Also, this was a horrible way to bring Emma back and immediately slot her as a loser. Even with Alexa Bliss walking out, Emma comes off as a complete loser here. I got to be honest. And yeah, Didi, I'm not going to have you do that. I love and respect you way too much. We're not going to have you rant on what was basically a nothing segment. So, and a nothing bout, honestly. And yeah, I feel bad for all the Emma fans out there, especially one MF, because I know how much MF loves and adores Emma and worships the ground she walks on. So, but we'll get into that behind the scenes, MF, because I got something on her that's going to make you very happy. But then again, maybe you know what I'm talking about. But anywho, just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, it gets worse. You know, we have Heath Slater and Rhino, you know, inaugural SmackDown Tag Team Champions, what have you. They had a backstage moment earlier in the show when Miz was trying to butter up Slater to join him. And Slater basically said no. And Rhino was basically was being his handler and saying, hey, he's already got a partner and all that good stuff. So Slater and Rhino basically challenged the Miz, saying, hey, Miz, find yourself a partner. Find yourself a tag team partner. I'm going to go to Kurt Angle, and we're going to have ourselves a tag team match tonight. Yeah, we have a tag team match. It's Heath Slater and Rhino against The Miz and his partner, The Bear, from last week. Hokey for jokey, are you kidding me? Heath Slater and Rhino win the match in 6.5 minutes. Wyndham Hammernager dressed up in the Bear costume. And then he gets switched out. Ambrose shows up, takes out Miz. And this is not a no rating to a dud. This is an absolute dud. This was the worst fight of the night, far and away. Hell, that 10-second match with Dar and Alexander was far and away better than this nonsense. Give me a break. I'm sure people loved it. We were not one of them. I wasn't one of them. I know for sure MF wasn't one. I know Didi wasn't one. And I know for damn sure Michael Bullock, if he was here, he wouldn't feel the same way. He'd feel the same way we all do. nice to see that Ambrose is so upset about losing his title that he's back to his comedy routines. And this could be, you know, leading up to a possible breakup angle with Miz and Maurice. I mean, we saw, you know, the planning of the seeds last week, and who knows if they break them up, what happens then? Do they make Maurice a part of the women's division? I mean, it's very possible. I personally kind of want to see her get back into the women's division because, you know, she was a former 2-time Divas champion and has one of the longest reigns in Divas championship history way back when. But anyways, then we were supposed to have another cruiserweight match with the cruiserweight champion Adrian Neville against Rich Swann, and match never got off the ground. Neville beat the snot out of Rich Swann, and then he grabs the mic and went on one of his screaming promos that Bullock loves so much. Yeah, we all know how much Bullock hates Neville screaming, but I honestly like it myself. He says, hey, Austin Aries, TJP, Richard Swann, and he says, get out of my ring. And then he basically called out Akira Tozawa because Titus O'Neil was trying to hype him as the next Cruiserweight champion. All right. Neville was great there. I just wish that they could have used someone other than Swann for the sacrificial lamb. Hell, use that Hammernager jabroni who was in the friggin' bear costume. I'd rather would have used him. Or hell, use Noam Dar. Hell. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could have used maybe you could have had some Hammernager dressed up as a Gestapo security guard for Christ's sake. I don't know. But honestly, yeah, Neville screaming and all that was really good. So all right. Tag team matchup here. Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Enzo and Cass. Gallows and Anderson win it 2 minutes 28 seconds. Another no rating to a dud. I like that they're continuing the Cass and Enzo angle and including Big Show to play off of last week. Thankfully, Gallows and Anderson were able to overcome the odds and beat a loudmouth midget and his big concussed friend. Yeah, so they win it with the Magic Killers. So, yeah, let's face it, Enzo and Cass are on their way to Splitsville, or unless this is to set up the 50th heel turn of Big Show, because we all know how many times Big Show has turned heel over the years. So, well, MF and Didi, you can relax. You can finally come back in now because, I mean, finally we have some relevant stuff to get into, and it's the main event for Christ's sake. Oh my God, this show was awful tonight. If there was that many cutouts, oh for Lord. But at least this was something relevant, finally, and it took it till the main event to get there. The return match for the Raw Tag Team Championship. 2 out of 3 falls, Intercontinental rules, if you will. The champions, Cesaro and Sheamus, defending against the Hardys. Sheamus and Cesaro win the first fall. Second fall, the Hardys win the second fall. We go to the third fall. It ends in a double countout. 14.5 minutes, the total time of the fall. And it's Didi Woodson who actually gets to start this off because, you know, the first 2 things were actually relevant. So Didi, main event. Unfortunately, we get a cop-out finish, though. But at least it'll keep the feud going.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's... All I can say is the first fall... I kind of thought was a little well, let's just say it wasn't the best because I mean it was probably the shortest out of all of them. And then of course first fall was Cesaro and Sheamus, second fall was Hardy's, and then you had the double count out, and then you had the guys brawl afterwards, and didn't give it up. But for me, I'm going to give it 3 stars for the match. It was definitely the fight of the night out of this horrific Raw. I'm not even looking forward to doing the overall review for this because it was just that bad. So Um, not much more I have to say about it. So just you
I'll-
guys take it for a spin.
Yeah, I'll take it for a spin. I will agree with you, Didi. I will give it the same rating. It was a solid 3 stars. Of course, this was far and away the fight of the night. Good match overall with an unsatisfying finish to continue the feud. Now, I'm not a fan of booking quick finishes and best of 3 falls matches, as we saw here with the champions chopping out to the quick 1 elite. But the overall match was entertaining despite the count-out, cop-out finish, which will obviously lead to a rematch at the earliest possible date, which will probably be the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view next month. So that's really all you can say on that. So, this is the fight of the night, far and away, solid 3 stars. So, MF, your thoughts on this cop-out main event?
Yeah, it was a cop-out main event, no doubt about it. 3 stars is my rating as well, and it's underwhelming. I mean, I was expecting something better than this, but it was good. I did like it, but the first 2 falls were really quick. I didn't like the cop-out finish on the 3rd fall, but I understand it. I get it. There's really nothing for me to say, so let's just move on, Anthony. It's all yours.
We're already at the overall review. My lord. I'll make it short and sweet. This was far and away the worst Monday Night Raw of 2017. Far and away. 3.5 out of 10 is my rating for this. Raw was not a good show tonight. It had a great opening and a good main event, but the 2.5 hours in the middle were really bad. If Raw was a hamburger, it would have a fine artisan roll filled with a double crap burger with extra special crap sauce. That's how bad this show was here tonight. There's only really 2 things you need to see from this: the opening segment with Joe and Lesnar, and the main event. That's it. Other than that, skip it, because it wasn't worth you-know-what. Get the you-know-what out of here with that. So, the opening segment with Lesnar and Joe, fun while it lasted. Fans who watched the NBA Finals and the pre-show coverage didn't miss much beyond the pull apart. Well, unless you really enjoy watching guys wrestle in bear costumes, this was not a show for you tonight. So, I know I'm probably being generous with this rating, but that's all there is to say on it. So 3.5 out of 10, and far and away the worst Monday Night Raw of 2017. And MF, if there's room for me on your SmackDown Live bandwagon, let me on.
I don't know. That bandwagon's pretty full right now, but I'll say this: 2 out of 10 for me. 1 point for the opening segment, 1 point for the main event, and that's all you're getting from me. Basically, like you said, by far the worst show of the year, and without a doubt, I mean, SmackDown Live will bring it. We don't really need to bring much. I mean, if we junk the bed tomorrow night and we do that kind of garbage, just shoot me out. Just shoot me out, take me out back, pistol whip me, and all that other jazz, because that would be absolutely horrendous. I think Derek Ferrer said it best. I feel bad for you, Monday Night Raw folk. I do. I genuinely feel bad for you because if you really think about it, the total time was about maybe 30 minutes, and the other 2.5 minutes was complete and utter waste of time, man. I'm sorry. I just don't know what to say. I like I said, I genuinely feel bad for you Monday Night Raw fans. I think you really got shafted here tonight. No doubt about it in my mind. 2 out of 10. Oh boy. Batting down the hatches, boys, because the biggest prognosticator is in the room. Didi Woodson. Anthony went 3.5. I went 2. Are you in the middle? Are you going lower? Are you going to be generous? Well, where you stand?
No, I was more on your bandwagon of saying 2 because it sucked that bad. Because I remember last week with my headache and everything, I gave it a 3. So Yeah, this week's definitely worse with only two things relevant in the whole dadgum show. Like I said, I don't have anything nice to say about this. I'm definitely, I guess from the start of this whole split, I've been more on the SmackDown side anyway, and this just cemented it that, you know, Raw has lost their A show title and has gone to the B show. It's also cemented the fact that we do not need a 3-hour show, and we definitely need new writers to do Raw because let's face it, it sucks. Yeah, even Kelly agrees. It sucks. I mean, give me a break. You want to put a guy out there in a bear costume? Really? Yeah, really. Ay, 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 ay. Double palm face, stupid show, not worth your time unless you just want to see the brawl at the beginning and the main event. I wouldn't waste my time with the show, period, because it just sucked. I definitely agree with Derek's comments on it, and I feel so sorry for you, Anthony, being the Raw guy. So, not much more I have to say about it. So, see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, Didi Woodson, and hopefully it'll be a more positive show. Well, I'm not going to say hopefully. I know it will be a more positive show tomorrow night.
From what I'm hearing, it sounds like it might be. So,
and I'm sure, and I know MF will address it when he sets up Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow, because they announced two things that are going to go down tomorrow night on SmackDown Live, which are definitely both of interest.
I read it, and I'm definitely looking forward to. Well, one of the two mainly is what I'm looking forward to, but yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot better of a show. SmackDown always seems to be able to storyline a lot better. Even if the matches do suck, at least you have a storyline there, and
exactly,
you know, they can build off of it. Raw don't have that.
It's kind of one of those things. It's like less is more, you know. Because think about this: the Monday Night Raw roster is dwarfed 2-1 to SmackDown Live. What makes SmackDown Live better is the quantity is not big, but quality of the show, the production of the show, and what they do with the show is why SmackDown Live has easily become a show of WWE. And you could throw anybody out. You know, the thing is, when they bring it all together, and this is what I'm saying about SmackDown Live, they really know how to push the right stars. And the thing is, once they go to Raw, they're dumping purgatory. I mean, I don't. They always say SmackDown Live is the land of opportunity, and you're looking at it right before your very eyes, folks. I mean, did anybody think Jinder Mahal was going to be a big name? And he's now the WWE champion, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, go figure.
Think about that.
Yeah, your WWE champion is a guy who's been known as a jobber for so many years. And look who we have on Raw. Our Universal Champion is a guy who comes out of hibernation, every 2 months? Jesus.
Exactly.
So
basically what Kevin said right after the segment is that he's going back home or back to his hotel room to go sit on his butt. And frankly, that's probably exactly what he did after he had his nose looked at. If anybody caught that, his nose was bleeding a little bit.
Yeah,
But-
Joe. When Joe hit him with that sucker punch, yeah, or
Yeah, I
the
think
sucker kick, I should
I think
say.
he broke the bridge
he-
of the nose.
He drew blood on Lesnar. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He drew blood.
So-
Not many can say they've done that. Not many can say, "Hey, I made Brock Lesnar bleed." Wow.
Cena did. Cena can.
Yeah.
Taker can.
Yeah.
I think those are the only two that I could think of that has made Lesnar busted open.
And
Oh, yeah.
going back to, what you're talking about here about, Jinder Mahal and stuff. Well, look at Alexa Bliss. Here she was the top of the women's, and she's got the title over here on Raw, but she's become more of the joke on Raw instead of the top of the line like she was on SmackDown. So
Yeah, but the thing is with Alexa Bliss, she's talented enough. She can work it.
oh yeah,
she can definitely do it. But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna openly admit this. WWE did a major disservice to her when they did that "This Is Your Life" segment. That "This Is Your Life" segment not only knocked her off the pedestal because she was already at that. Well, okay, she was at the top of the food chain. She was the #1 female wrestler, and they knocked her off the perch so bad.
Mhm.
It was a major disservice. She was the quote unquote goddess, and I say quote unquote because I don't want to get you. I know. I'm sorry, but at the time she was, but she's no longer the goddess. She lost that. She lost it. She's
because of the writers.
because of the writers. So
Yeah. That's what my point is.
yeah.
The writers have pretty much ruined Raw. I mean, they've taken someone talented like her that was at the top of their game on SmackDown, bring them to Raw, and make them a joke.
Yeah.
And makes everything that they've accomplished, everything they're able to do. I mean, I'll agree, she can wrestle in the short time that she's been doing this. She's proven herself, yes, but the writers have pretty much turned her now into a joke because of that one segment. And now they've done basically the same thing to Bayley, giving her the title so fast, and then
I agree.
Now here she is, trying to pull herself out of this, where they make her look like she's weak, and all she ever wants to do is be the hugging, fun-loving girl when she's got to have a backbone, and they're going to have to start letting her have a backbone instead of just giving her this
But the thing
fun-loving
is,
little thing.
But the thing is that at this point in the game, and this is another thing, and I really feel bad for her about this, is that now it looks like the fans are starting to turn on Bayley, and that's so disappointing because she was coming in red hot, amazing, NXT quality. I mean,
Yep.
look at what's happened with the Women Revolution, Sasha, Bayley. They were the most talked about women coming in, and they've literally fallen off the map. On SmackDown, okay, you got Naomi, who's the champion, very good.
Mhm.
You got Becky Lynch and Charlotte, who are the other remaining members of the Four Horsewomen, and they're relevant because they're locked in a storyline right now. But I'm going to be real honest with you, the three that are really shining right now on SmackDown Live, and Florio, I know you're going to hate me for this, but I'm going to say it. It's the Sweet Halle Pie Mean Girls. It's the Welcoming Committee. They They are really being big. They're being pushed really big time. And even Lana, for heaven's sakes, Lana showed up last week and she got one of the biggest pops. Everybody wants her. Everybody wants to see her. As a matter of fact, I heard a story that they actually might turn her into the next Eva Marie. And I know No. The reason why I think I kind of just made Didi Watson angry at me again.
Well, Lana's got a new look now. Lana's got pink hair now, so I wonder if that could.
Well, no, but the thing is that they want to make her to be they're definitely doing the Emelina thing. The Emelina, the wow factor, the stunning beauty. But the thing is that they want to also incorporate the little bit of the Eva Marie where she wasn't really that great at wrestling, but obviously she's been training and she's working hard, so she's going to be better than Eva Marie, at least in the ring. I hope. I pray to God. But
I don't know, but the cat's sorry, we have a flying bug in the house, and the cat is climbed our closet and going after the bug.
Yeah.
I wish I had my computer in a way that I could show you, but yeah, she's going after this thing.
That alone is better than tonight's Raw. Hands down.
Yeah. At least. I mean, I wish you had your camera working, man, because I think that's the highlight of the night. We just crowned new NBA champions in the Golden State Warriors. Congratulations, Warriors. We'll get on that Friday night because I know Derek will probably now add that to the list now that the series is over. But good grief, man.
Yeah, Golden State Warriors, once again NBA champions. They defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers 129-120. They win the series in 5. They do it in front of the home fans. That's always a sight for me. I mean, it always warms me when I get to see a team win a championship in front of the home fans. So that's wonderful. So congrats to them. So we could go all night with this, but we can't do that. So
yeah.
All right. So I think we pretty much had our piece here. So Didi, we'll wish you adieu, and we'll have more fun with this tomorrow night as part of the Cerebral Smack Talk, because now I got to get into my Tony's take, and the negativity is going to keep on coming here. Well, this will be a little more positive than Raw, I'll say that for sure. So 205 Live, we had a 3-show match. Of course, we had a huge headline match, which we're going to get into in a moment, but let's start it off. Cedric Alexander went up against Noam Dar. Cedric Alexander won the match in 7 minutes and 15 seconds with the lumbar check. 2 3/4 stars. It was a pretty good match overall with a fun finish. And like most Dar matches, there's nothing technically wrong with it, but it suffers from the same dead heat segment that he works. Then we had Mustafa Ali in a squash match against some guy named Louis Valley. Ali won the match in 3.5 minutes. Well, 3 minutes and 35 seconds. 1 star. It was a rehab win for Ali, who was basically squashed by TJP on Raw and lost last week to Gulak, Drew Gulak on 205 Live. I think Valley got a bit too much in, but it did a solid job of continuing the Ali and Gulak feud. And then the main event, the big main event, the Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Adrian Neville defending against TJP. Winner of the match in 14 minutes and 13 seconds. And still the Cruiserweight Champion, Adrian Neville. Far and away the fight of the night, but it was only 3 stars. But honestly, this, like many Cruiserweight matches as of late, was good from a technical standpoint, but was completely flat and nobody cared. The big issue is the heel-heel pairing. The angle makes sense. Neville used TJP. TJP is angry. He's PO'd. He wants the title shot that was promised to him. But he's been a complete D-bag for the last couple months. And the people had no reason to care about him or invest in him. The work was good. They had some good intensity early, but it lacked in any drama, Shakespearean, what have you. And they just couldn't get the crowd to care or become fully engaged, which really hurt the bout. So that's all I can say on that. So overall review, 5.5 out of 10. 205 Live continues to struggle. The guys are trying, but they just aren't out into a position to succeed. Adrian Neville is wonderful. He's great. Having Cedric Alexander is great. The Gulak angle is fun, but that show just felt flat and unsatisfying. Michael Bullock just joined us. So, Michael Bullock, we're going to catch you up on the Monday Night Raw. There's really only 3 things that you need to get into because this was pretty much a crap cutout show tonight. So,
I heard about it.
I want to get your thoughts on some on the angle on the opening segment with Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, that to me was the segment of the night. I mean, what can you say? I mean, this is why I think this match is definitely going to steal the show at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. And yeah, I mean the brawl was really good. Certainly a good way to set it up. And yeah, I mean, we definitely saw some blood with the with what Samoa Joe did to Brock Lesnar. So yeah, really got nothing more to say except that was the segment of the night.
And then the match with Elias Sampson and Dean Ambrose, with Elias Sampson winning in about 11 minutes and 55 seconds.
That was a good 2.5 star match as far as I'm concerned. So there's really nothing more to say.
And then the main event, the 2 out of 3 falls tag team championships, Cesaro, Sheamus, the Hardys. It ended in a 1-1 draw. The third fall ended in a count out, 14.5 minutes. So quick thought on that.
To me, I can only give this 3 stars. I mean, it was the fight of the night, but I mean, why did we have to have this match end in a draw? Really, WWE? I mean, now you can see why this Monday Night Raw literally sucked ass tonight. Because you had overbooked, clunky finishes like this one, and you also had done enhancement filler, and
Way too much of it.
And
Cutouts ruled this show tonight.
yeah, the cutouts ruled the show, and I don't like that shit. I'll tell you that right now. And
Amen.
and now you can see why SmackDown Live kicks ass right now. And
Yep.
And it's a shame that Raw has been so bad. And I've been a big fan of this show, and
So yeah,
and all those fucking writers whoever came up with the script for this show tonight, you know what? These fucking Dinkelbergs, they need to be put on the list right now.
stupid idiot.
And I'm not joking around.
Amen. I agree.
I'm not joking around tonight. I would do the usual, you just made the list shtick, but after this show tonight,
Don't bother.
I'm not even in the mood for it. You know what? WWE, you can go screw yourselves for putting on a show like this. I mean,
Worst show of the year.
yeah, worst show of the year, and I'm gonna go as far as to say this: even though that Samoa Joe Brock Lesnar match is gonna be the fight of the night, I think the entire Great Balls of Fire show is gonna suck.
Well, let's give it a chance right now and see what the card looks like before we throw it into the ground.
You
There.
really think that they can improve after what we saw tonight?
Sometimes, they have a really bad week, and sometimes
I'll believe it when I see it. Until then,
I know you'll believe it when you see it. I know.
Until then, I'm not buying anything.
So when it comes to the overall review,
So Vince McMahon, Kevin Bucktooth Beaver Dunn, and all you fucking writers who made this show a shit fest tonight, you know what? I'm gonna do this.
yeah,
Go screw
that's
yourselves.
basically what they said to us. That's basically what they said to us. So yeah. So
Yeah.
I gave it a
So
3.
I'm done. I'm finished.
Yeah. I gave it a 3.5 out of 10. MF and Didi both gave it a 2 out of 10. I don't know about you.
You know what? I haven't done this in a while. I'm giving it a 0 out of 10.
I don't blame you. I had a feeling
I
it was
mean,
coming.
Yeah, you had those 3 good things, but it just was not enough to save the show. So because of that, I'm not even bothering giving it a rating. It's a 0 out of 10.
All right. So if you're all set, I'll get back into my Tony's take here.
Oh yeah, because if you go on any further, I will blow a gasket.
No, we've had enough negativity for one night. So let's get that out of here. Let's get the you know what out of here with that. So I just wrapped up 205 Live. That was a 5.5 out of 10. Now let's move on to Impact Wrestling. That wasn't any better. Believe me, this was not any better. Even though it was the first set of tapings from India, I mean, I was expecting a lot of great things from this, but boy, howdy, was I wrong. We had the usual windbag talking segment, Alberto Del Rio, and then he was interrupted by Lashley, and they have a back and forth, and Bruce Pritchard comes out and says, both men will defend, you're both going to defend your titles against opponents of my choosing. And if your opponents win, they win your title, and they go to Slammiversary. All right. I was honestly hoping that they would break away from the opening promo, or as I call it, the windbag segment, and start things off in a new environment with an exciting match. But the segment was fine. I'll give it that. The segment was fine. I'm not going to low blow the segment. It was fine for what it was. X Division Championship on the line. Low Key defending against Caleb Conley. Winner of the match in 6 minutes and 32 seconds. And still the X Division champion. It's Low Key. Believe it or not, this is my fight of the night. That's how bad this show was. I'm giving it 2.5 stars. Again, I question, what has Caleb Conley done to deserve a title shot? People keep getting them with no explanation. It's really not too much to ask for competent booking. Key retains in a solid match. Conley did get some good hope spots after the eye injury, but it just never felt as if it got going. But Sanjay Dutt comes out, the hometown, the home country, India. He basically challenges Low Key to an X Division title match for next week. Low Key says yes, so it's on. I'll have more on that when I get to my my preview of the show at the end. Davey Richards in a squash match against some Indian wrestler named Vikas Kumar. He beat him in 2 minutes and 27 seconds. No rating to a dud. Even for a squash match, this was not good at all. Mr. Kumar is a bad professional wrestler. Let's move on. Bobby, this was the first of the two big title matches. TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Bobby Lashley against Bruce Pritchard's handpicked opponent, Impact Grand Champion Moose. Winner of the match in 16 minutes and 50 seconds. And still TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley. I'm sorry, I can only give it 2 stars. What poor planning, giving away a title versus title match with absolutely no build. It's just bad booking and gives you no chance to advertise and attempt to build your limited audience. If they had worked the right match, they could have somewhat salvaged this. Instead, they worked a bland and flat and boring bout. They should have really worked a hard-hitting sprint, which fits Lashley's explosiveness and is the environment where Moose thrives because he can play off his power and athleticism. If you do that and Moose looks really strong and gets some believable near falls, he at least comes out of it looking good. Instead, he's just another victim with a title that they have no idea how to book. They almost worked the exact same match as they did on One Night Only Turning Point earlier this year. And that was also a boring, bland, and disappointing match. So they basically said, screw it, and did it again. And just chopped off 3 minutes. I really don't need to see these two in another match. And I have no desire to see them in a title match whatsoever. Knockouts champion Rosemary against Laurel Van Ness. Rosemary wins the match 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Another no rating to a dud. Not much of a match. It was more about some light setup for Sienna and Rosemary. And they continued the odd couple relationship between Allie and Rosemary. So, yeah, okay. And then the main event of the evening for the Global Force Wrestling Championship, Alberto El Patron, he defended against Chris Adonis, formerly Chris Masters. Eli Drake was in Adonis's corner. Winner of the match in 12 minutes and 50 seconds, and still the Global Force Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, Alberto El Patron. 2-star match, another flat and lethargic match with no drama whatsoever. Patron won in what felt like a 20 to 30 minute snooze fest. So that's all I can say there. So my overall thoughts on this, 5 out of 10. The first show from India was a complete and utter disappointment, with only a few minor things to build the Slammiversary that felt noteworthy. The wrestling only existed to fill time and offered nothing worth my time. Wrestling companies, WWE included, have this ability to go overseas and make their show look exactly the same in a bad, sterile way. The Impact set looked the same, minus the Sony 6 signs. I really wish what they would have done something different and tried to make this show important, but it was just another show. I'll be honest, I commend Impact for going to India and doing TV there before anybody. I commend them for that. Well done. But it would have been nice if they could have delivered a show that felt special instead of talking about how special it was. This episode was not good. It felt lifeless in terms of content. And that is not a good first step to debut in India with or to kick off the bill to Slammiversary. The only thing that felt somewhat important was Sanjay Dutt challenging Low Ki for the X Division Championship. I was not a fan of the show. What do you need to see? Well, in one word, nothing. That's all I can say there. So if you had it DVR'd, don't bother. Delete it. That's all I can say, even though it was a 5 out of 10 show. But you're not going to want to delete this show coming up, because this show here, I got a good feeling about it. The show that's going to be coming up on Thursday night. That's going to air on Pop Television. All right, we're going to have EC3 do a silly segment. EC3 is going to, come out in some silly outfit. But James Storm is going to come out and he basically had some kind of interpreter, I guess. Then there's going to be Josh Matthews is actually going to be wrestling on this show. Oh yeah, that's a cutout right there. He's going to be wrestling some Indian wrestler. But then it will get better. Moose is going to cut a promo, interrupted by Eli Drake and Chris Adonis. That's going to set something up. Braxton Sutter one-on-one with Trevor Lee, and then there's going to be some knockout stuff after the bout. But then this is where the show is going to get interesting. They're going to have what's called the Sony 6 Invitational. It's going to be a 10-man gauntlet. Davey Richards, Suicide, Eddie Edwards, Spud, Swoggle, KM, Congo Kong, Matt Sydal, Moose, and Mahabali Shera. And then the main event of the evening for the X Division Championship, Low Ki, Sanjay Dutt. From what I'm reading, I heard a lot of positives about this, and I cannot wait to see how this plays out on television. So that's really all I can say on that. So that all goes down on Thursday night on Impact Wrestling. So that's it. We're done. That's how fast this show was. I mean, if you blinked on it during the show tonight, you missed it. That's all I can say there. So, and all I can say is praise the Lord that this show is over, because I honestly have no more desire to get into this crap fest show tonight. So, all right,
yeah,
we're
gonna fucking shit fest.
Amen. Dumpster fire. So, basically burn this mother effer to the ground. That's all I can say. So, we're gonna get into our shout outs now. We're gonna try to bring at least some form of positivity into this. So, Bullock MF, whoever wants to do the shout outs first, just take it, and then I'll set up the future content, including Strictly Sports Friday night. Docket's already out. So, Bullock MF, whoever wants it first, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll take it. Of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's the Surreal Smack Talk, or Strictly Sports. It doesn't matter. We really appreciate it. We thank you all so very much for tuning in and putting up with our rants, as it should be after tonight's shit fest of a Monday Night Raw. So, of course, shout outs to all of our super fans. You guys know who you are. To all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. So that's pretty much going to do it. So, till tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you. The Phenom Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now. Enjoy your night, everyone. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Yes, indeed. First off, thank you to all the great fans out there for making the show as amazing as it is. You guys are the best fans in the world. Of course, to the super fans, you guys know who you guys are. To my friends in junior high and high school days, you guys know who you guys are. 2184 crew, love you guys to death. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And then tomorrow is Cerebral Smack Talk at 10:30 Eastern on BravesFan95YouTube.com. Okay, guys, we got a lot to talk about. We got SmackDown Live. We got Lucha Underground. We got some Ring of Honor stuff. And actually made a special request, and I'm going to do it anyway. New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dominion show. We got a new fight of the year. And boys, Okada and Omega, the original was great. The sequel was better. I'll give you my reason why, and I'll tell you why it happened. Without a doubt, we got the new fight of the year for 2017, hands down. So 10:30 Eastern, Braves Fan 95. You know the routine, everybody. Other hand pounds. I'm out. Have a good night, everybody. So long for now. Anthony Flory will take it home.
Yeah, we'll do, MF, gladly. Of course, a double special shout out to all of you fans who put up with our rants tonight. I mean, we don't like to have to do that, but if they give us crap stuff like we had tonight, we're not only gonna tell it like it is, we're gonna go off, and they gave us every reason to go off tonight. So we want to thank you all so very much for those of you who actually tuned in and put up with it. So if you did that, you truly are the best fans in the world. Enough said there. So we thank you very much for that, no doubt. Of course, special shout out to the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, of course, Dee Dee Woodson, along with Kevin Woodson and the entire Woodson family. Of course, special shout outs to Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, our other First Ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva and Lexi Calloway, the other crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, and Rob Parsons, and of course, the man himself, the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Derek Ferreira, who's been posting a lot of dirt sheet material on his channel, Boston Sports Fan 84. So give that a whirl if you haven't seen any of that. So, yeah, and I'll save the rest of my shout outs for Friday night. And all right, some news has come out of there's been a change to the Strictly Sports docket. We were originally going to have an outrage segment, but Derek has scrapped it in favor of our NBA Finals recaps. So, I guess the NBA Final recap will take the place of the outrage segment. So here is now the updated docket for Strictly Sports Friday night. We have a new men's basketball head coach at Ohio State. His name is Chris Holtmann. We're going to get into that. Unfortunately, we will have to get into a noggin. Unfortunately, a noggin diva hard time story. 3 Michigan State football players charged with sexual assault. Unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about that. Bob Stoops, announcing his retirement as Oklahoma head football coach. And then we'll talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins winning the Stanley Cup. And instead of the outrage segment, we will now talk about the Golden State Warriors winning the NBA championship. And then we'll have our Major League Baseball power rankings. So I'm sure that outrage segment will probably be pushed back to the following weeks. So wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. So Chris Holtmann, new head basketball coach at Ohio State. The 3 Michigan State football players charged with sexual assault. Bob Stoops retiring as Oklahoma head football coach. The Penguins Stanley Cup, the Warriors NBA championship, and the Major League Baseball power rankings. So that's it Friday night. Now, I want to bring MF in for a moment because this weekend is the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Any plans for a preview show on Saturday night, MF? Are you busy or what's the story?
Well, right now I'm probably gonna ask for us to do the preview on Thursday night because just to cover ourselves on this one, I'm probably gonna do Thursday night at 10:30 for the preview, and then of course Sunday night will be the recap as always. So normally Saturdays I'm always busy, out and about, but yeah, so I'd probably say Thursday night 10:30 will probably be the best time for me to do the preview for Money in the Bank.
All right, I'll reach out to Derek and clear it with him, and we'll go from there. So as soon as we get that information, we'll pass it on to you. We'll have MF pass it on to you tomorrow night during the end of Strictly Sports. So, or I should say, at the end of Cerebral Smack Talk. So yeah, tomorrow night's Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll review SmackDown Live. Of course, 6-man tag team match with all 6 men in the Money in the Bank ladder match. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn against Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, and Baron Corbin. And then a face-to-face confrontation with WWE Champion Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. So that'll be on SmackDown Live. And then, of course, the Mikey's Mindset. I know it's going to be loaded with Lucha Underground, ROH, and that New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion. I've heard a lot of positive reviews about it, including Derek's positive review on his channel. So I can't wait to hear what MF has to say, especially about Okada and Omega. I thought they blew it out the first time. I guess they blew it out even better. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. So, all right. So, and then Friday night, Strictly Sports, and we'll try to do that Money in the Bank show on Thursday, and then the recap Sunday. So, all right, that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Smack Talk, it's the ridiculously over gentleman Anthony Fleur here. For good old MF Michael Fletcher, for the phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Didi Woodson, and of course the hardcore pipeline Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. Stay cool. Try to get through this extreme heat like as only you can. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Bracefan 95 at 10:30. You were watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.